Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
Hey, Mumford.
Oh, hey, come on in.
Hey, thanks.
Grab yourself a glass of wine.
Don't mind if I do. Wow, the show looks great.
Thanks so much. Let me take you around, show you a little bit. So this right here is my wall of colorful abstracts.
Ooh.
Over here on this corner, I did some small landscapes, and
I like it.
this wall is one of my favorites. It's a series of assemblage pieces where I took pieces of wood and found objects in the alleyways of Los Angeles, and I put them into a kind of sculptural painting.
Oh, wow. I mean, these are great, but, look at this piece. I mean, this is really speaking to me. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I don't have words, but I gotta have this piece. How much are you selling this one for?
That's just a smoke alarm.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm out of here.
Wait, Mumford, come back. I'm sorry. Whatever. It is a good piece, though.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I thought I would hammer this one out really quick. Sorry for missing last week's episode, but I've been having some major setbacks with my health and brain, so I figured I'd rely again on the magic of the Ice Beanie today to get me through this podcast episode, and hopefully my voice will hold up. So I thought I would talk about something a little bit practical today, and it has to do with galleries. Now, I haven't been able to show my work physically in a gallery for a few years now because of my health, but I show my work all the time online, and I've been in over 150 art shows in my career. Many of those were, galleries, major galleries, minor galleries, but some were pop-up shows, some were art fairs, some were celebrity shows and cool things and cool events like the Obama gig and the David Lynch Foundation gig I did, all these things. So I have a lot of experience with shows, and I have a lot of experience showing in galleries, and I have had a few solo shows under my belt. So I figured I would talk about, how to present your work in a gallery and how to not be disappointed. And as you can see from the thumbnail for this episode, how not to throw a tantrum in a gallery, because that's not going to work for anybody. No, this episode is not about throwing tantrums. It is about how do you get yourself ready to make the most of a gallery show. Now, this is primarily talking about doing a solo show. And if you haven't done a solo show at this point, that's fine. It's something to shoot for, and it's always something to kind of have in the back of your mind and to even plan for and to come up with a strategy for, because the more you're ready to do it, the faster you'll probably be able to get that done, and the faster you'll be able to visualize it and make it happen. But also when the time comes, or when the time comes for you to pitch a show to a gallery or to a gallery director, you will know what to say, and you will know kind of what your aesthetic is going to be and what your story is going to be. So what is this episode really about? It's about doubling down on having a theme and having a story. We've talked about in the past how, as an artist, story matters. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to be that or not. I think a lot of people connect. I was going to say collect, which is also true. Collect or connect based on your upbringing or your story or whatever your angle is. Like if you have, it doesn't have to be something super dramatic, but if you have something unique, like we've talked about this in the past, how one of this artists was an astronaut and he had collected some moon dust when he went to the moon on one of his expeditions, and he would bring it back and he would sprinkle a tiny bit of the moon dust in each one of his paintings. Now, we don't have the ability to do that, obviously. Maybe some of us do, or in the future, maybe. But we don't really have the ability to do stuff like that. And it's not about really finding a gimmick, but it's more about finding a story and a theme that you can present to a gallery. And when you're in a show and you're hanging your show and you're thinking about developing a show, I think the best ones and the most impactful ones are the ones that have a very powerful theme or have at least a cohesive story, cohesive structure to them. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, let's back up. You might be saying, well, hang on a second here, Preston. We've been to shows before. We've been to, big shows before and haven't seen like a major theme in them before. And I would venture to say that most of the times when you've seen something like that, it's been because it has been an artist who has a name for themselves, somebody who's already kind of established that they can sell, and maybe they're doing a little bit more of just a hodgepodge of some of their work or a retrospective or something. Once you've developed a name for yourself, you don't have to do stuff like this, but I still think the most powerful shows that I've seen, like the Mark Ryden ones or, whoever I've seen in the past, sorry, the Ice Beanie is not helping me with my memory, but it is keeping me focused. The best ones that I've seen still, even with famous artists, have had a theme or a through line to them or some sort of like a structure or a cohesive structure to them. I think when we're starting out and we're trying to hook people in, yes, you're going to have your friends and your fellow artists who will come, not everybody, but the people who come to support you and stuff. Most of the time, those are not people who are buying art. Some of them are. But if you really want to latch in and kind of hook somebody who hasn't been exposed to your work before, having a theme or a story behind your show and the work and like the body of work that you're specifically showing for this exhibition or this solo exhibition, it matters. It's really going to like give them another window in. Like if they connect with the theme of the show or the story of the show, they're going to understand it more, and there's going to be a higher probability of them wanting to collect, or a percentage of the people who come in are going to want to collect because they relate to the story and they like the piece of art itself. I also believe this is something that's going to give you a higher probability of having somebody come and write something about your show, a critic or a local newspaper or whatever you do. You should be reaching out to people as well, but there's going to be a higher probability of them wanting to do something about the show if there is some sort of theme or structure to it. Now, it doesn't have to be like, saving the world, climate change, super political, or like, whatever, something you had some traumatic event. It can be. Sometimes those can be very powerful. Like if I was going to do a show in the future, I would definitely do a show about my experience with battling this disease and how much it's torn apart every aspect of my life, and being a working artist in this time and trying to survive and create work that is thematic and that digs deep into what I've been experiencing through this process of being so sick and, almost dying many times. So that's something very powerful for me, but it still requires coming up with a theme and like a cohesive structure to even that experience. You can't just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall. You can, but it's going to be more powerful if it's like, for example, like, I lead you through like what was happening before as everything was breaking down, and, as my health and my brain started to be attacked, and how I was able to kind of filter some of my energy into my art, and, how I was able to use that passion to keep me going, to give me a purpose to keep going and thriving. And then, the gaslighting of the doctors and the medical community, and how that, affects your psyche, and how that affected the theme of the work, and then working through it, using the art as a working through process. You get the idea of what I'm talking about here. So I guess the thing is, and the theme is, to think about if you were to do a show, if you were to do a solo show right now, or if you're to plan one right now, and maybe you're in the midst of one, maybe you can tweak it a little bit. But if you were thinking about planning a show or a pitch for a show, because a lot of these galleries now, they want you to pitch, a theme for a show. Like there's a lot of people trying to show their work, and you might have the best work on the planet. But if somebody has a very unique angle or a very unique theme that could be sellable for a gallery, like they're trying to get people in. They're trying to get people in to buy work. And, it is a business at the end of the day. It doesn't mean that it takes away or detracts from the value of art and the intrinsic value of art and all that. Of course it doesn't. But at the end of the day, these galleries need to stay afloat and they need to sell work. And it's just better for everybody. It's better for you. It's better for the gallery. It's better for the collector. So if you're thinking about doing a show or pitching a show, or you're putting together a show, then I would highly recommend for you to dig deep and to think about a theme, maybe even to create a show. When I was working with Shockbox a lot, it just started to become, at the beginning when we were doing shows and solo shows, even mine, I just threw a bunch of body of work of like a period that I was working in. Now I did have thematic walls and thematic subgenres of work that I was working with. And, it was a successful show. I did sell a handful of work, and it was, worth my time, and I hope worth the gallery's time. But, looking back on it and looking at the evolution of even that gallery when it was still around, a lot of the artists were starting to just go into like hibernation for a while, while they created a body of work, and they were keeping it secret, and they were starting to like build on that idea of releasing this work at once to the public and having this wonderful theme of a show like Amrita's show or, Daniel Hustwith's show. I interviewed both of them if you want to look back and hear some of those interviews. But some of these shows were very powerful because they just had this wonderful, personal, impactful theme. And one of them, of the examples that I just gave, they were both different in a sense. One was more playful and one was deeply personal and traumatic. So just think about what you could be doing with a gallery. Think about what the show could be, how that show could actually even fit, or that theme could even fit in with a specific gallery. Maybe the gallery dictates a little bit of the theme that you want to be thinking about. But I really think it's going to serve you very well. It might be like, oh, what a pain in the ass. I got to come up. Not only do I have to create the work, but I got to come up with a theme. Well, I would venture to say it's going to save you more time and more energy and make you more money down the road to actually put in a little bit more effort in the beginning of the process and to think about all this stuff. Because once you've got all that hard work done, the show's going to flow. The hanging of the show is going to flow. There's going to be more people there. There's going to be more press there, and it's going to be a more successful show. You're going to make more money, and you're going to be like, oh, wow, that was time very well spent. And this might even just take you an extra day or an extra week of really thinking about it and kind of coming up with a theme and a cohesive structure for this body of work that you're thinking about presenting for the show. I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to get this out quickly with the magic of the Ice Beanie, and hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Hopefully this gave you some ideas to think about when you're thinking about putting together a show. It doesn't have to be a solo show. It can be a group show, but obviously a theme is going to work a little bit better when it comes to like doing a solo show of like a whole body of work. But maybe in a group show of like a 2-person show or a 4-person show, you might have enough space to have a little sub theme or a sub area of the gallery that you can put together a cohesive structure as well. But yeah, just start thinking about this. Start thinking about stories. Start thinking about thematic bodies of work and interweaving your story and something that you really want to say, or something that is just begging to come out of you and to put into a solo show where you can really express yourself and have it be something that's impactful and cohesive for a viewer. I think it'll serve you well. So we're going to leave it at that for today, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Take care of yourselves. Take care of everybody else in your lives. And we will see you next time on the next episode. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.